I have been made aware of other resources that I can use in order to assess and plan for learners with additional support needs in my establishment, and I have also developed my leadership skills in supporting teaching and non-teaching staff within my school. We had an opportunity through our regular sessions to meet and discuss, and it was an opportunity for us to talk about individual learners within my establishment and to see how we can support their needs within the school environment. I think the structure of the modules were really useful, and the content of the information, staff members were able to access the module in their own time, and the links to other resources, websites, further reading materials, we found it as a staff really helpful. We could kind of think of any children in mind, and then we were able to be directed to other resources that we could use to support the learners. I've got a better understanding of what support the staff in our school need in order for them to be able to support and include learners with additional support needs in their establishment. I am also going to be liaising with the Glasgow Psychological Services, and for them to come out and do some staff training in the Circle framework in order to support the staff, ensuring that their classrooms, the physical learning environment, the social learning environment are prepared in order to meet the needs of the children that they will have in their classroom. So it's given me kind of next steps for my school, what we're going to do to make sure as a whole school we're going to meet the needs of the learners. And for myself, it's given me other, kind of directed me to other resources so that I can better plan, assess and support for the learners in my school.
I feel it's been a really positive experience. I've decided to join the course after completing an Education Scotland module on inclusive practices, and I have a particular interest in supporting young people with autism, so I felt that the Autism and Inclusive Practices course would be a really good follow-on step. It's been just brilliant to meet with other educational professionals and to speak together and learn more from others, but also just to engage with some really high quality learning materials, and to think about how we might put that into practice within our classrooms and schools. So I think one thing that's been quite noticeable is that I've felt a lot more confident in leading group discussions and using coaching skills to develop thinking. We in our school used a teacher learning community to have a look at all the resources and read through the materials. So we've been quite relaxed and informal in how we've approached it, but that's been a good experience for myself. I've also really deepened my knowledge and understanding of autism and inclusive practices, and in particular of the policies that are related to that. And I think the quality of the learning materials has been so good that it's just really extended my thinking and helped me to support and develop the thinking of others within our school. So staff in our school that took part really talked about how confident they felt and how their skills had grown. We have an inclusion group working within our school, and one member of staff who was part of our course has already been using the evaluation tools to feed that back to the staff in her group and look at how they can use that to develop their practice. So we're looking forward to seeing what the next steps are. So I think for us, we felt that the use of language is really, really important, and we're going to really work as a school to change people's thinking and use of language in terms of autism across the school. I'd really like to deliver this module with more staff. We only delivered it to a small group of staff this year, so I'm really hoping to extend that and make that opportunity available to everybody so that we can share the learning and then work together as a school to decide how we want to implement some of the learning and improve practice across the whole setting.
The programme's been fantastic. Naturally, I'm a bit of a yes man, so when opportunities come up through email, I take all of them on, and I did have a panic of, is it going to be too intense, is it going to be manageable? But the sessions were really structured, really well planned. that it was really easy to dip in and out. Even sometimes when I couldn't make a session, I could go because it was recorded and the resources were available, which put me at ease and made it more manageable with my other commitments in school, and more enjoyable because it wasn't a stress trying to get through the sessions. I could do it at my own pace and lead it in my own school in the way that I wanted to do it. It was really flexible, which was good. So because I'm a principal teacher of science, I don't have specific training in autism, but our school has an LCR unit, and in science we've got a growing responsibility for teaching kids from the unit, sometimes within our mainstream classes and sometimes isolated as a group they'll come down to us. And I felt that I didn't really have training at all in the area. I felt really inexperienced compared to the teachers that are upstairs in the unit and the support teachers that were coming down. I was very wary of not being as knowledgeable, but I approached it in my way. But by doing this course, I now feel that I've got strategies that are appropriate. I can now challenge things and ask questions and make suggestions that can help the young people, whether they're upstairs in the unit or downstairs in our mainstream classes. So within this setting, again, we have multiple subjects now that are delivering classes to pupils from the mainstream. So across PE and maths, music and Spanish, we have pupils that will come down and they'll join our mainstream classes, and members of those departments were involved in the training. So they now also feel more knowledgeable in the area. And within science, we've presented some of those pupils for SQA exams, which didn't previously happen. So they now feel that they can work towards that as opposed to just doing one-off lessons and having groups coming down. They are now looking at how they fit into our mainstream and how they fit into our senior phase, in the hope of presenting more pupils from the unit for SQA exams. So when I was rolling out the programme in school, it was voluntary, so I sent out an email and anyone could get on board, and naturally it was mainly mainstream staff that got involved in the programme. So going forward in the school, what I hope to do next year is have some members of staff from the unit alongside mainstream teachers who were involved last year on the programme, and also new teachers that have come into the school and have a responsibility, and all work together to try and make sure that we're having a more collaborative approach and that we can take the expertise of teachers who work in the unit and learn from them rather than as being two separate entities in the school.
The programme on leading in autism inclusive practice was close to my heart. Being part of a specialist provision within a mainstream school, a lot of our children who have an autism diagnosis have then moved on to our mainstream schools, and I felt I needed to upskill myself to make sure that their transitions were really good. And I felt this programme was suited to that because it really focused in on lots of different areas within the autism spectrum, and also how as a provision we can support mainstream staff as well. So I was already quite knowledgeable about autism, but doing part of this programme also helped me focus on new policies and new documents, and then passing this on to my colleagues within mainstream setting as well as the LCSC provision as well, and also sharing my knowledge with our senior management team has brought that to their attention too. So it's been really good helping the staff work their way through the online programme. What we got from it as a team was the collegiate discussions around where we need to go next. As a team, we're quite good at certain things, but there are other areas that developed through this programme that we really need to focus on. And one of our main areas that we found was transition from class to class. We're very good at transitions from nursery to primary, from primary to secondary, but actually moving the autistic learner from class to class, we felt we really needed to focus on, and we learnt that through doing this programme, that was one area that was really difficult for us. So our main next step is our transition programme, along with carrying this forward next year. It's now on our school improvement plan, and the hope is that all our new staff as well as our additional support helpers will be taking part of this programme and leading it forward year on year, and just developing our own knowledge and making sure that we have continuity throughout the school system.
So my experience of the programme has been actually amazing. It's really allowed me the chance to sort of reflect on myself and our current practices and shape supports within our secondary setting. And it's been a brilliant opportunity to collaborate with a whole range of different services and supports across various different local authorities, and just really that invaluable opportunity to network with other colleagues and just learn about a wee bit more about their practices and their settings. So in terms of my own professional practice, I feel that my professional knowledge and understanding has really increased, and I have developed a better skill set, especially against the standards of middle leadership. I'm able to articulate a better strategic vision and lead impactful change, and also motivate and sort of support colleagues to come on that journey and sort of shape and create ASN supports within our setting. So the online learning module was a great opportunity to have a base structure, and I implemented this in our setting as a twilight CLPL session. It really allowed for me to build in time for staff to self-evaluate on their own practices, and also challenge procedures and practices within our setting. And it really provided an opportunity for colleagues to discuss with each other some experiences and challenges they were facing in their classroom, and also what we could do as a school, how we were supporting young people, and what the supports staff, colleagues and our pupils and families really needed. As well as sort of looking at the language, the terminology, really understanding autism beyond the stereotypical autism, and actually looking at our own current practices and the way that we go around supporting young people. And all of this has been embedded now into our school. We had a colleague from each of our different departments, and they're then filtering that throughout our school to really embed solid autism pedagogy across our school setting. So as part of this programme, I effectively created a strategic vision and strategy around autism inclusive practice for our school. So the plans going forward from this is to continue to embed this and evolve depending on the needs of our young people. It's also to effectively track and monitor young people with an additional support need, particularly those with an autism diagnosis, and how we involve them and families in planning and actively supporting their young person's educational journey.